guys, I'm Pixel Dan, and this is a review of the Masters of the Universe Club Grayskull Filmation Style She-Ra. That's right, my friends, we're taking a look at one of the latest Filmation action figures from the folks over at Super 7. So She-Ra here does come in the same style Castle Grayskull themed box as all of the other figures. If you remove the slip cover, it fully showcases our brand new She-Ra action figure with a nice window box here. The whole box is designed to look like Castle Grayskull. Even though this is a She-Ra and the Princess of Power character, it does still have the He-Man and the Masters of the Universe logo on there, but I guess that's to fit the theming of the overall Club Grayskull motif. The back of the box, though, does have some beautiful artwork of She-Ra from the original Filmation animated series, along with the Crystal Castle there in the background. And we've even got a nice new bio on the bottom of the back of the box. So let's go ahead and get our cartoon-styled She-Ra out of the packaging and get a closer look at her. Alright, let's go ahead and take a look at our new Filmation-style She-Ra figure outside of the packaging. We'll go ahead and bring in the tape measure here so you can stand that the figure stands right at about 7 inches tall if you measure all the way to the top of her tiara. Alright, I have a lot of things I want to talk about with She-Ra here. I want to start with the head sculpt. Now, look, at first glance, I think she looks pretty great, and I do think that the overall sculpt is really good, and it's there. The hair and the shape of the tiara, very much representative of what we saw with She-Ra in the animated series. But something strange is going on in the face, specifically with the eyes. And I think that those eyes are painted a little too far apart from each other. In fact, if you look, you can see the sculpt of the eyes and how the actual paint deco of the eyes doesn't match up with the sculpting. So something weird happened here, and I've seen a lot of people pointing out the same thing, so it doesn't seem to be just with my figure. This seems to be widespread. The eyes are definitely a little farther apart. Now, at least that they're not like derpy eyes and they're not real wonky, but there's definitely something off about her face because those eyes are a little further apart. The other thing I want to point out is there's some weird coloration stuff going on here. First of all, She-Ra really suffers from having that very glossy plastic, especially on the torso. You can see how shiny the plastic is that's used on her torso. But there's also some weird coloration going on. You can see on her bust here, there's like this swirly kind of pigment happening within the plastic where it's like the colors didn't get mixed right with the plastic or something. I don't know. It looks pretty bad. You can also see it a little bit in her elbows and everything, but it's most noticeable right here on her torso, which is a bit of a bummer. And there are several areas on this figure where I really want to point out specifically down here. There's just a lot of messy paint. I mean, she's got the gold of her boots all over her shin on the front and the backs of her legs. Man, I don't know. This figure kind of feels like a mess as far as the paint deco goes. And that is really, really unfortunate because, I mean, this is She-Ra. She's one of our heavy hitters. And the fact that she's got so many weird paint issues right out of the package is definitely a letdown. Something else I want to talk about. Let's get into her articulation. But first of all, you'll notice her arms are kind of like, she's posed with her arms outwards. And that's because her arms will not go in any further than this. And that feels a little strange to me. It feels like I should be able to bring her arm in a little closer to her body like that. But you can see how it springs back out. I don't know. There's definitely something strange going on with the sculpt up here or the way that the joints were assembled. She can't put her arms down past this point. So it's like she's too buff to put her arms down to her sides. I don't know. So it's a bit odd, especially when it comes to posing. The hair gets in the way a little bit, but not too bad. You can still swivel the head left and right. There's not really a lot of up and down movement. You can see the arms do swivel around still. You got the swivels at the elbow. You got bends at the elbow. You got the swivels at the wrist, and you got the nice hinge joints at the wrist, which is good. So she'll be able to get the by the power of, or for the honor of Grayskull pose, you know. We can swivel her at the torso. There is a break in the bodice there between the skirt, so you can actually swivel that a little bit. You will notice that if you turn it, there's definitely some gold from the paint here that's like down on the dress. That's covered up fine when she's not turned, but turning her torso, you can see the messed up paint there. The legs can bend outwards, so the skirt doesn't get in the way too bad, which is pretty great. So legs can go outwards, they can move forwards and backwards. Another thing I want to point out, the material that the skirt is made of is very pliable, but the paint is creasing on there when you bend the skirt. I don't know if you can see that. So that's probably something you're not going to want to bend around too much because look, it kind of leaves permanent creases there. She's got not pretty tight bends at the knees there. No swivels at the boot. The ankles are a bit loose on She-Ra, and she's got these heels and these smaller feet. So it does make it a little hard to stand her sometimes. But you can also rock the ankles side to side. So yeah, that's what's going on with my She-Ra. I do kind of feel like I have a bit too many flaws on her, which is unfortunate. But let's go ahead and jump in and look at her accessories. So first of all, she does come with her nice Filmation style sword of protection. So it's got the nice blue gem in there. It is that same kind of flat color gray, which was similar to what we saw with He-Man's. But again, I do like this because you can get her to hold the sword straight up in a nice For the Honor of Grayskull pose because of the way her wrists are, which is great. You can get her to kind of pose it, holding it with two hands, for post-transformation. So it's a nice accessory, and of course it's one that we had to have included. Now her other two accessories are really nice because they're brand new for this particular figure. First of all, we've got Sword to Boomerang. So of course, as you may or may not know, She-Ra was able to transform her sword into various things in the cartoon. So in this case, we've got it as a boomerang. It's a cool accessory, although it's worth noting it's a little too wide to get her to hold on to it. So it's real hard to get it positioned in her hands. You can see her hands really just don't want to hold on to it very well. And then she's also got Sword to Shield. So she's got a shield as transformed by her sword. It's got a handle on the back so she can hold on to it just like that. It's a bit awkward because of the shape, but still a cool inclusion. I'm glad we got some brand new accessories for this figure. Alright guys, it's comparison time. Let's go ahead and stand this new Filmation version of She-Ra alongside one of the Masters of the Universe Classics releases, just so you can see the differences between them. Of course, the Classics version had a lot more detail going on, and this one does do a good job of looking like the cartoon counterparts. So really kind of shows you the difference when you stand these two side by side. So there you go, my friends. There is a look at the new Club Grayskull Filmation style She-Ra. So we can now pair her up with some of those Filmation Evil Horde figures. And she does look pretty great standing alongside her brother there. But at the end of the day, my figure just has definitely too many flaws. The discoloration is weird. The eye paint is weird. The articulation seems off. I don't know. I just definitely feel like she is not up to standard with a lot of the other figures we've got, which is a real shame, especially because it's a heavy hitter like She-Ra. Now, I don't know. Your mileage may vary. Maybe yours didn't turn out quite like mine. Maybe these flaws are just nitpicky on my part and they don't bother you too much. That's totally fine. I'm not going to tell you guys to love or hate your own action figure. I just wanted to point out the way I feel about mine here. So She-Ra was offered by pre-order only through Super 7's website. So at this point, if you're hoping to pick one up and add it to your collection, you're going to have to find her for sale on the secondary market. So happy hunting, my friends. Hey guys, thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, hit that like button, leave me a comment down below, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button. Until next time, my friends.